What's up, brothers and sisters? Your brother G World 7_D. I'm going to go to this book here again. I believe I talked about it before a little bit. It's The Science of the Dogon, Decoding the African Mystery Tradition by Lord Stratton. And obviously, you see in the cover, you see them building stuff within a cliff, like a rock cliff. You see that in America, man. But I want to show you some quick parallels. And I don't know if I've done this before. I'm going to go to page 39 and go get the light on this. Go to page 39, get this little light on this, and I'm going to rock it like this, okay? Give a good picture, good image. Okay. And here we go. The surface narrative of the Dogon creation story presents themes and incidents that should seem quite familiar to students of ancient mythologies. The sequence and manner in which the godlike entities of the Dogon religion emerged is comparable to that of the earliest Egyptian, Sumerian, Akkadian religious traditions. The creation story itself includes subplots, such as the incident in which the Dogon ancestor steals the fire of Numo, that we find repeated later in the fables of Greek mythology. Likewise, there are many obvious resemblances between the Dogon symbolism and that of Mayan mythology. For example, both cultures conceive of the earth as a woman lying on her back, her arms, legs representing the cardinal compass points, the roughly pyramidal shape and dimensions of the Dogon granary call to mind the earth mastabas of ancient Egypt. And we find many of the symbolic aspects of the Dogon granary repeated in the flat-top pyramids of the Americas. The more familiar we become with the deep symbolism of the Dogon creation story, the more we will see that these similarities extend to some of the most remote corners of the world and resonate with the mythologies of societies as diverse as those of the Moai of New Zealand, the earliest cultures of Asia, and even the Aboriginal tribes of North America. Let's say Native America, I use the Aboriginal. I'm going to turn on and go here. Okay. Here we go. Get it clear. It can be seen from the preceding exercise that if we replace the symbols of the Dogon creation story with basic attributes of water gleaned from encyclopedias, the result is a statement about the creation of the universe and creation of the earth that is organized, succinct, and factually correct. Not only are the facts presented just the ones we would expect to find in an encyclopedia article on water, they also appear in the same logical, organized sequence. More importantly, the interpretation that brings us to the conclusion begins by substituting facts about water for a symbol that we are emphatically told means water, and ends by validating both the obvious and enigmatic statements of the Dogon. We can hardly ask for better proof of a supposition. The other obvious theme that the Dogon creation story relates to fertilization and the creation of life. Images of intercourse and fertilization appear again and again throughout the midst of each civilization. We have discussed those from Egypt, Sumer, Babylon, Rome, Greece, Central America, Mali, and others as far distant as New Zealand. Symbol after symbol is said to represent a woman, her reproductive parts, the divine seed, and so forth. If we review the Dogon creation story, again taking the same analytical approach as before, but this time applying meanings that relate to fertilization and the creation of life to the symbols, we find that we are rewarded with similarity satisfying results. In this case, Amma represents the first living cell, which, according to modern science, emerged self-created from the waters of the ancient ocean. Described by scientists as a kind of primordial soup, the perfect Numo pair is then formed by mitosis, a form of cell division. This process of splitting results in a matching pair of new cells, each with the same chromosomal makeup as the original cell. I'm going to stop right there. Now, the main reason I was reading that, and there's some more that talks about this in this book, The Science of the Dogon, Decoding the African Mystery Tradition, which I think I've talked about this book before, but as I showed you that cover, the cutting into rock, but the idea, a lot of those storylines are similar around the world. why they're similar. All right. The best conclusion you can come with why they're similar is that there's been a cross fertilization of ideas. All right. There's been trade and also exchanging of ideas and cultures and planting seed globally. So people were not landlocked in West Africa. So these people, all these people who had the same similar tradition, this belief system, were Negro people. All right, they were not no pale Caucasian people. These were Negro people. These were not pale Asiatic people. These were Negro people. And it's hard for people, I know, to fathom and understand this, because when you've been taught that all black folks come from West Africa, Sub-Saharan Africa, which is a geopolitical term and is a racist term, then you're going to be very narrow-minded in your thinking, like home team history and from nothing. Because all they do is talk about Africa, not understanding that so-called Negroes all over this planet, claiming you don't want to study the Olmec civilization and say the Olmecs weren't quote black, when there's pictures of the Olmecs without their damn helmets on, rocking afros. But if you've done your research, you idiots will know that. But see, this is the problem when you have Negroes who just out there regurgitating what white folks have told them. This is why it's so important to really study our history and to really understand it and to basically make comparisons to the various different archaeological structures that are around the world globally. That's just in that book, The Science of the Dogon. You can look at my other videos where I show you those different archaeological structures, like in Utah, over in West Africa, like in Asia, how similar they are as blasting into rock, because they smelted iron, they knew how to make steel, and they used that to cut into goddamn rock. There's a book I want to suggest, brothers and sisters, if you think about getting it. It's small type. In this book right here, I'm going to show you a clear picture. Okay. The Aboriginal Races of North America, comprising bibliographical sketches of eminent tribes from the first discovery of the continent to the present period, with a dissertation on the origins and the antiquities, manners, and customs. All right. This is another good book to check out. It's basically this is the Aboriginal lineage and heritage, but this book has a lot of small type. This is a hardback cover. I don't think it costs that much, man. But this is in one of them old scholar edition books. But I think you should get this too. You want to do some serious research on it. This is a book written back in the 1700s. All right. This book is written back. Oh, excuse me, 1800s. My bad. It's written back in like in the 1800s. But this is a good book. All right. And it talks about the Aboriginal black people here in North America, particularly. And this is the book I want to suggest to you. But the book I just finished reading a little bit out of here is The Science of the Dogon, and I was just doing comparison of you know, comparison of other Dogon with other cultures around the world and the similarities, and how the fact is that this stuff was basically a cultural exchange or a cross fertilization of a particular culture that was spread around the world by so-called Negro people. And you see right here, building things within rock structure. All right, they build stuff, cut into rock, and build stuff within the rock structure. And you seen that images in Utah, and they did this over, and this is over in West Africa. But you seen it over in what you call the Four Corners area. You see that stuff where the stuff was UN structures were carved into rock. So that's just me giving this information. You can take it as you want. And I'm going to try to do another video, maybe dealing with ancient America or the Aboriginal blacks in Europe, to show you some images. Because I have books in the 100-Year War and the 30-Year War in Europe. So, and that's our history. All that's our history. So despite these little Negroes who want to sit there and talk about West Africans and we're brought over in the slave trade, those little buck dancing clowns, man. Your real history you need to continue to seek out is there, but you're gonna have to want to seek it out. All right, brothers and sisters, I love you. Peace and love.